On Tuesdays is KARATBARS University, and we have Jim Deal here. Pete's away for a while. Jim, I'd like you to kind of go through some of the things that you'd like to go through that we've hadn't had enough time for you before. So let's go ahead and talk about the various issues you think are most important to kind of get people motivated. This year, by the way, I heard an interesting comment last night from Donald Trump on the Hannity show on Fox, and it was funny. He had Melania Trump there, and he said, we're going to have a very deep recession this year, and he paused. He said, if I'm not elected, which I thought was pretty funny. So he's a bit of a comedian, too. But I think we're going to have a significantly deep recession. We're already in one now, but it's going to get a lot deeper this year. And if people don't have an alternative income and a means of ensuring their money, their wealth, they're going to suffer very badly here, not just in America, but in countries around the world. So if you're listening to this broadcast, it doesn't matter if you're in France or Argentina. And by the way, Argentina's economy is crashing again. That's why they elected a new president. And they're down back to bartering. Believe it or not, that's what's happening again in Argentina. 100 years ago, it had a pretty vigorous economy. But again, socialism killed it. People would pretend to work and the government would pretend to pay them. So the average wage in, say, Cuba, which is a police state, communist police state, is $24 a month. Believe it or not. Did you know that? The average wage in Cuba, $24 equivalents a month. Crazy, hey?
Yeah, it is crazy.
So, Jim, what would you say to people to try to get them motivated, how to give them the tools to get the business going? It's really so simple. Go through step 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I find, we've talked about this before, but I find the biggest issue is belief. Belief in themselves, belief in their product, or belief in the company. And so if they're not doing something, I try to sit down and have a powwow and say, and I ask probing questions to find out where their problems are and try to address them. Once you get the belief issues out of the way, then the next question is fear, and that's fear of approaching people. Some people have that, some don't. If they really, my experience is the higher their level of belief in those three areas, themselves, the company, and the product, the less fear they have, because they're so excited about what we have to offer that they'll just go through walls. And we've seen that happen where people just they're on this and they get excited and they go after it. Right. But for those people that have those fears, we try to address those fears simply by saying, let us do it for you. And we offer them all kinds of ways to do that. And we work with them and we talk to them about how to get their prospect list together, how to approach people. We do the approaching, and we coach them on all of that stuff. So there really is no reason, and I would say those people. Exactly. I would say those people out there that are in this, but they just haven't pulled the trigger. Well, I'll say another thing I found is timing's not right, because I found there's a lot of good quality people believe in the concept, believe in the product, believe in the company, but for whatever reason, timing's just not right. And I think I shared a story with you on that. What I do with people like that is I see that they have all the qualities, and I tickle them every once in a while. Every time there's something exciting going on, I'll drop a call and say, hey, Barry, I know you're busy, but boom, this is what's going on, exciting things happening. Hey, give us a shout when things clear up for you. And I think I told you the story. I had one guy call that way for probably once a month for about 12 months, and he finally said, I'm ready to go, Jim, and he took off and took our office. We moved up to the Northeast and started a new office, and he went on to become a multimillionaire. So, so timing's a big factor. So you got people in your group. Those are the things that I see that keep people from doing things. They don't believe, and they have fear, or they have timing issues. And again, we address the fear thing with, let us do it for you. We got the track to run on. We got the scripts. We'll hold your hand. We'll even burp you if you want. and for those
that's pretty funny.
So, so if people really want to do this, but they're just running into some of these various issues, just reach out to us, contact us, and let's work with you, because we've worked with people for a long time. We know the kind of stuff people run into, and we can help you. If you're interested and you're motivated, get back to us. The other thing I would say to people is, don't go out and try to raise the dead. If you brought some people in and they're not doing anything, the worst thing you can do is sit there and fret over the fact that you got people not doing anything. go out and find people that want to do something. Because if you focus all your energy and effort on people that aren't doing things, it's going to suck the life out of you. It's going to drain you. It's going to wear you out. You're going to say, this doesn't work. Your belief level on the business will go down, and you'll go down the toilet. So that's the other thing I've seen. So a buddy of mine in a former business, he said, it's a lot easier to give birth than to raise the dead. So don't try to resurrect the dead. If there's any life in the people that you have on your team, the best thing that you can do for them is go out and find some new blood, quote unquote, get people excited, and then call and post it up to your team. Say, man, you wouldn't believe we got this new guy Bob on, and he is tearing it up. Well, guess what that does? That raises the belief level of all those people that are sitting out there sucking their thumbs and feeling sorry for themselves because they got a few no's. And they've given up either on themselves, the company, or whatever. So you're never going to resurrect those people by sitting there and focusing on those people. The way you're going to help them, the best way you can help them, is you go out and you do it with or without them. One of the things I found is the worst thing you can do for people is get them to feel like they need you. I don't need anybody. I don't need you for my success. I am my success. If I can't have success with me, I'm not going to have it. So that message has got to be very clear to people. We don't need you. We want you because we want you to be successful. And if you want to be successful, then we can help you. And if we make you successful, that makes us successful. So we're motivated to help you. We want to help you. So you need to understand that. But guess what? We don't need you. So if you don't want this, that's okay. We're going to build it with or without you. So have a good day, and don't let the door hit you in the butt.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
I wouldn't really say that, but that was what Art Williams used to say. He was my mentor, I would guess you would say. But
so
go ahead.
Yeah. So what you're basically, and this is what I boil it down to. This is my approach. I say, look, the economy is in the process of crashing. Internationally, it's crashed already in many countries. It's coming here. The rage, both on the Democratic side supporting Sanders and on the Republican side supporting Trump, and to some extent Cruz, although Cruz is an insider. I mean, one of the things that I think they started when they started the book back and forth, and it was basically a super PAC supported and I'm sure informed by Cruz, was the fact that they put this very provocative picture of Melania Trump.
Yeah.
But really, that was to shut down Trump from actually not talking about whether or not Cruz's wife is hot or not, which I think is ridiculous. But, because he tends to counterpunch. And, you got to understand that there's at least 5 presidents, if you actually Google it, that have a touch of what's called Asperger's syndrome. Now, everybody's got some degree of autism, I think, now in our culture nowadays. But there's a few that really stand out, and they're all actually some of our best presidents all had a touch of Asperger's. And there's several characters. There's number one, they have superior intelligence, they're very driven, and like the old story about George Washington, I cannot tell a lie, Asperger people tend to have what's called coprolalia. In other words, what's in their head comes out their mouth even if it hasn't been filtered. So if you ask questions like Chris Matthews about the abortion issue, and then he's just going hypothetical, he's going to say something. So what happens is, I tell people, I said, the most important thing you have to understand is, I'm not going to hold back. Things are really flying apart. I expect this year, with the derivatives market, with what Yellen's comments are, the international markets in China and elsewhere, we're probably going to get a devaluation of most world currencies significantly. The stock market basically is going nowhere since January. It's upticked a little bit from the little tweaking they do of the comments by Janet Yellen, but otherwise, it's not doing well. And a couple bad events, we could have a domino effect. And if you aren't getting into an alternative economy, not just a second job, but something you can actually build that'll actually reserve and save your value, not in fractional reserve currency, you're going to suffer. Steps: make a list, call them, get us to help you, get your KYC documents in, and go and motivate your people down. I'll come back. Well, let's talk about motivating people. Okay. I'm going to give it a hypothetical. Okay. Mrs. Jones or Mrs. Marshall, let's say, she's got 2 kids, one in the oven. Her husband has been put back to a part-time job because of Obamacare. He's working a second job. They barely make it. She's trying to do some kind of a home phone business thing. not making enough money really to kind of, they're scraping by, but they still have debts hanging over them, and they're shuffling credit cards. They have a little bit of savings. They want to do a trip, but they can't. They have to keep putting it off, and they want to do things like take their kids to Disneyland or whatever, or visit their grandparents, but they can't travel and fly because they don't have the money. And if anything hits them, like a big debt, like a car breakdown or copay for some medical thing, because they've got, of course, Obamacare now, they can't afford it. And now, this person out there is thinking, well, that fits me, or sort of like me. But no, you can get a bronze plan for about $50-some. You can actually start buying a gram of gold for about $50-some a month. And the main thing you can do is, after you're working at this for half an hour to an hour a day, 4 to 5 days a week, after 12 weeks, number one, you get free gold because you're going to have Downline. You're going to have a credit card in Stuttgart, Germany that's going to actually deposit money, which you can transfer out to your bank account. And you're going to be also, if you have back office, if you do things like maybe you make crafts at home, you can actually sell those. The K Exchange is coming on very shortly, so that you can actually sell services like, let's say, you tutor online, or you transcribe records or whatever, legal records. In other words, you can actually advertise in the network. You can also sell your services on something like, let's say, eBay, and you can actually be paid in KARATBARS. So people need to understand, this is a gold-backed currency. It's not just buying gold and silver. And I believe in buying gold and silver. I think it's a good idea. But this is far better than just buying gold and silver, because it's a gold-backed currency. Gold-backed currency means you can actually buy and sell across state or international lines. You can exchange with other people. You can advertise. And you don't have to physically transfer the gold. Most people don't realize the wealth and the early bankers are all run under the Jesuits and the Knights of the Templar. Knights Templar. All the early bankers are Knights Templar. And the reason is you carry a scrip or writ. And they had an internal code of honor that if you deposit your gold at one of the Knights Templar, you could travel to, say, the Holy Land with that script, and all they did was a piece of paper. They couldn't steal your gold. So what would happen is that you were protected from theft from the highwaymen on the way. Well, there's lots of fraud and security problems with people's credit cards and PayPal and everything else. And the worst thing right now is, the only way the international economy can actually deal with the massive debt is to devalue the currency. And they're playing around with various ways of doing it without causing social upheaval and revolutions. And they're trying to use distractions like war, the impending war, the Hirage, which is the invasion of Europe, the massive infusion of people from a border that's wide open from Mexico and elsewhere. All of this is to distract the people from the fact that that's why there's so much rage on both the Democrat and Republican side. So I tell people there really isn't any, how can I say, you don't have a marketing problem to tell people they have a problem. What you have is a motivation problem to think, well, I can't do that. I'm a single mother at home. Have you got a telephone? Do you have a cell phone? Do you have a computer? Do you have a mouth? Can you actually say something to your friends, neighbors, your business partners, your relatives, and say, if the economy loses, say, 30% of the value of your money, and groceries cost 30% more, won't you feel happy with the fact that you've insured yourself against that catastrophe a year or two from now when you have a residual income and your money is not just going poof? Because everything you have, including your pension funds, are valued in fractional reserve dollars, which funny money, the only way they can get rid of the debt is if they actually devalue your money, or they bail it in if the banks become insolvent and they say you're an unsecured investor in the bank. Believe it or not, I mean, that's theft, and using fancy terminology to say, well, we can steal your money because you're a bad investor. Isn't that crazy? So, Jim, what do you think?
Well, if I get a gal like that, and she's in that situation, I would just say, first of all, I'd identify what she wants out of this thing. What do you want out of this? You want quote-unquote free gold? You want to build a thriving business? You want passive residual income so you can, walk away and have your own time to yourself so you can focus on your family? What do you want out of this thing? And really try to, lock into that. And then I say, so let us, what is the biggest thing that's keeping you from doing this? And I'd identify that. And if they say, well, I'm not too comfortable talking to people or whatever, I'd find out that. And usually that's the case, or I don't have a lot of time or whatever. And so I'd say, well, look, let me help you build it, and this is how we do it. So those are the two things I would address. what do they want out of it, and then find out what it is that's keeping them from accomplishing it, and then addressing that and going from there. And then we just walk through with, hold their hand through it. And I just tell people, say, look, we'll stay with you and build this thing with you for as long as you want us to, until you tell us to get lost. In other words, I can do this on my own now. So we're attached to you, because you have to understand, your success is my success. So I have a huge incentive to help you succeed in this business. So now you just got to show me, let's identify the people you know, and then I'll show you how we will contact them, and we'll help you build this business until you're ready to, until you get to the place where you don't need any money, or you get what you want out of it, you get your free gold, or you want to do this on your own. And that's what I do. It's really not too complicated. I mean, you're going to ask me questions, I'm going to be a broken record. I'm going to tell you the same thing, because I've done this kind of stuff long enough that I know what works and what doesn't work. And that's what we do. But we can do it for them. They just need to kind of step up to the plate, and if they're interested in talking, say, well, let's find out where they're at and identify what they want to get out of this, and then show them how to do it, and how we'll help them do that. Did I lose you? Oh, let's see. Okay, guys, I can't hear anything. Okay, no problem. So anyway, for you guys that are out there that are listening, that are part of Dr. Bill's team, just get back to Dr. Bill and give him a shout. And if you want me to work with you, or you want Pete to work with you, he can give you our contact information. We'll be glad to help you. The other thing is, I would tell you that if you don't really understand the significance of what's going on, and what we kind of harp on every week about what's going on, be prepared in the economy and that sort of thing, go out and watch the Hidden Secrets of Money. I think it's called The Hidden Secrets. Mike Maloney is the guy that does it. It's a series of about 5 or 6 half-hour educational videos that are really high quality, high production, very informative. You will understand what's going on. When you get done with that, you'll understand what's going on with our monetary system, why you absolutely, let me put it to you this way, when you get through, if you get a hold of what's going on, you're going to say, you will be rushing out there to buy gold and silver. Because when you get what's happening, you'll realize how significant it is. And it really doesn't take a whole lot of gold to be in a position where you're fairly safe. So that's my recommendation to you guys.
When I look at my newsletters I get from Gerald Celente, when I look at my reports I get from Joel Skousen and others, we look at situations, and you have to look at we would call it the landscape of what's going on. A lot of times the solutions are a lot easier. In fact, sometimes easy solutions are overlooked by people. Like, for your health, the first thing is try to work with the body with natural biological molecules like Nutrimeds. Now, functional medicine is much more complicated. It's more complicated than herbology, chiropractic, massage therapy, acupuncture. It includes all of those, but it also includes things like genetics, toxicology, lab work, possibly surgery, imaging studies, functional studies that look at your quantum resonance of your body, like the QRMA and bioplasm, and toxicology, heavy metals, radiotoxins, other things. And the epigenetics of how your body operates is now being jammed by not only smart pollution, from smart meters and Wi-Fi networks and switching mode power supplies. It's important to also understand that people are overwhelmed on the financial side. They credit card fraud, automatic payment things are often being dinged and called or messaged by their phones. So I tell people, you can reduce the noise, and you can also reduce the noise of who's manipulating your finances, because ultimately the global governments are moving more and more to manipulating your finances by controlling your value of your dollar and your currency, and then they're closing down what's called the velocity of credit and the velocity of money. This is all by determination, because they want to basically disenfranchise the public, so they can create a situation where people are more and more desperate. This is the reason why we're having such a revolution in this year the election year is because a lot of people feel disenfranchised. Tremendous influx of people from the inappropriate and ridiculous behavior of Mr. Obama, basically using executive orders to overlook the proper operation of our border police, bringing in millions of potentially of people that embedded in this massive surge of people coming in from the Middle East and North Africa, people that are terrorists, and of course no common sense over the terms. What people should understand is that Obamacare is not going to go away. Even if someone like Donald Trump comes in, it's going to take a while to disable it, to transition it, and the harm done to business now is really tremendous. One of the things that I saw, for example, from Bernie Sanders is raising what's called the minimum tax, the minimum wage. Now, the minimum wage should not be raised, and I'll explain why. They should have what's called reverse tax, which means below a certain income, you automatically get money back, and you get it back in a regular settlements, say weekly or monthly, so that you are a single mother at home or a working family and don't make more above a certain income, living in a certain part of the country, you get enough money that you can actually have a life. We also have to have a system where we have a value-added tax to cover things like health care, and there should be a probability of a single-payer system. And we're not talking about socialism. We're talking about the fact that health care should be a right. We also should have a system to pay the doctors not just on a salary like communist countries, but a salary that's based on performance, continuing education, public service, etc., and years of experience and training, but not ridiculous amounts, but enough. In other words, pay the doctors well enough, and also make sure they're not in debt $500,000 or more dollars before they go into practice. How are they ever going to pay it back unless they make buco bucks? And again, the solution to you personally is, how can you get out of this mess yourself? It's not just electing Trump, which I think is the primary solution to fix it on a national level. At a personal level, it's KARATBARS. It's not like any other business. You're not selling vitamins. You're not trying to become really an expert at something where you're not, say, a functional medicine doctor if you're selling a slew of vitamins and you're not going to make much money at. You want to build a downline where all they're doing is exchanging fractional reserve currency for actual gold-backed currency, which is even better than gold, because it's portable. With the K exchange and these other systems, you can buy and sell things across the international borders electronically. In fact, we are working on an encryption system, so it's fully encrypted against national things that can actually know what you're doing. It's none of their business. And we're not talking about the dark internet. We're talking about whether or not, let's say you're a shoemaker in Brazil, you can buy leather goods from Italy in KARATBARS, and you're not going to be affected by whether the value of your local currency is. And if you want to have your savings accumulate in Stuttgart, Germany, as you're working in KARATBARS, it accumulates there. You can move it to bank accounts anywhere you want. So this system is a major solution to a lot of the problems that are coming to the middle class. The middle class is being wiped out, not just in America. It's already happened in Russia. It's happening even in China, where for every new job they have 9 people educated and trained. So I tell people, here's what I do when I tell people to get in KARATBARS. Number one, decide that you want to get a package, the best package you can get, which is ideally silver or gold. If you get bronze, you can upgrade, but you're gonna not accumulate as many points if you don't get the higher package. I think at 5% of the downline, according to a dual level formula for bronze, 10% for silver, and 15% for gold. And VIP, I think, is 20%. And what we did when we started off, we got VIP for myself, my wife, and our daughter Kelsey, and our sons. We all got gold packages for them and our employee. So we're building a downline, and the way you build a downline is you build it under your family on what's called a power leg, and the other leg is the person actually has to do something to call people and build a downline in what's called their banking leg. If they call daily and get, let's say, 2 people a month, just 2 people a month, that do the same thing as them, save 1 gram of gold a month, and get a bronze package, in 1 year you'll have over 1,000 people. If you continue replicating every basically period month, you actually double that. It's 2 to the power of 12. It's pretty straightforward mathematics. If you do more than that, you're going to build a giant downline. And that downline, even if they're doing what I think most people do, if they see this as a really good business, like, for example, people like Kino, who's one of our great people in New York, he actually runs an international fruit stand, or astrophysicists like Professor McCanney, he's built a massive downline just in a matter of months after starting basically last fall. And he realized how important this is. Now, he's an expat living in South America. Keno's New York City, coming from the Caribbean. I think he came from Trinidad. He's a whiz businessman. And he understands that as you build a downline, and he had even people from Wall Street to come down and say, well, this isn't a valid business. And then when he came back and gave him information that many of the people involved are Hollywood producers, millionaires, people that are part of the Bundestag in Germany and elsewhere, people that already have money, he realized, like, whoa, this has got to be valid. Well, yeah, the rules in Germany for financial transactions in companies like this are far stricter than any other country on earth, including America. So KARATBARS is under incredible scrutiny to make sure that they follow all the rules and that they're all completely above board. Now, what we do next is we tell people just get a list, but think of the people that you know, or colleagues, or people that would be in trouble if they lost their income or their value of their money saved in their savings account or the value of their home or their pension funds. Remember, it's invested in things like the stock market, which is not doing good at all. In fact, it's funny, I was talking to one of my sons who has a 401k invested in the stock market, and of course he said he put in like $100, and within 2 weeks it was like $92 worth value. And he said, well, it's only started to gain some money in the last week or so. It's kind of gained a little bit. Like he said, it made X amount of dollars for the investments in the last 3 months. I said, well, that's what it is, the stock market. It's basically going to a gambling institution. If it goes up for a while, and if they continue to manipulate the economy, they can make it look better and it'll go up. But if it ever crashes or dominoes, man, you can lose everything. The problem is the same thing with our currency. The reason why the dollar is so valuable is 90% of world exchanges either is in virtual dollars, which are electronic, or in physical dollars, of all exchanges on the planet, whether it's for oil or buying materials or whatever. And so no other currency can compete with the dollar. That's why I tell people the real danger is if they eventually decide they're going to go to a virtual system, you will suffer with electronic surveillance on every transaction you make. So KARATBARS is also an escape from that system that down the road, years down the road, hopefully, many years, it's coming. So get involved with KARATBARS. We'll help you. We'll be your trainer wheels. Just call 888-212-8871 and we'll get you started. And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. I want to touch on some of the new things that are developing. Number one, you need to check out our new live stream channel. We actually have what's called Digital Network TV Livestream. It's an upgrade from our previous one. We had them embedded in a lot of our shows over the last number of years, but now we have a number of events that are currently operational. We'll be posting up also the shows and cross-linking them. So if you go down to our front page of Nutrimedical, you can actually go just underneath what's called the Listen Live Links panel. You'll see it says Radio Archives, and those are actually cross-linked by about 150 roughly cross-indexing topics. So I'm gradually putting those up. They're going to help you a lot with finding things. We have, of course, featured wellness medical conditions. If the way to contact is simply to call us at 888-212-8871, 888-212-8871, or go to the Contact Us and send your information or your questions regarding health condition. There's no charge for calling or asking for a callback or an email. I'll give you a quick 1, 2, 3. This is what you do to start off your protocol. If you do have something that's very extensive and requires review of records, I am going to request a consult, but that's rare. The wellness conditions are reserved for customers. To become a customer, you simply have to purchase a product. You can't just come in and ask for the wellness condition password unless you've actually in our database. So you've purchased at least one time. That's the simple rules. We've continued to upgrade those until we get better and better. If you look at our Listen Live panel, the panel says Listen Live free to the Nutrimedical Report. It's best to just visit Nutrimedical. It's confusing to go elsewhere. Then go to the free MP3 archives. You'll find them there. Really simple direct link. We have the call-in number, 800-259-5791, and the Listen Live number, which, of course, right now is 605-562-4096. It's on an Indian reserve. We have the link directly to our TV channel, Livestream TV, and there's 5 different events going on now that will be increased because we have other interviews and hosts that will be helping me to post up all kinds of articles from everything from the bees with Miriam Hanine in Los Angeles to experts on biblical issues, etc. Those channels are actually, you can hit the channel. We'll have a list of channels actually posted up as well, so you can go directly to those channels. Also on this page, I'm working on that. And you'll see the smartphone links for smartphone apps. And, of course, here we have the archives, the MP3, and we have podcasts as well. So there's lots of ways to listen to the program. The videos, by the way, are available because of the new platform, and streaming systems are available on all phones in the world, all tablets, and all computers. And they've overcome any of the problems with broadcasting, so you can watch your phone and look at any of these. You can actually search through the livestream.com website for almost any topic, and you'll see a lot of our topic channels come up with videos on many different issues. For example, if you look at the free Deagle Network TV livestream channel, and you look at the number of channels, currently we have 5. They'll be increasing. We have Nutrimedical protocols and wellness products. You'll have videos on all different products. It'll be posted up with a doctor info sheet and information. Many of the protocols we're going to be gradually upgrading with video. We have a geopolitical analysis of world events channel, astrophysics and earth changes, near space objects channel, interviews with Professor McKenney and others. Biosecurity, public health with Ann Morrison and other experts on biosecurity and bioterrorism. And then a clayandIron.com Christian World News and Biblical Christianity channel. Those events. By the way, they're all available and they're all free. All you have to do is hit the link and you go directly in. There's no charge. You may be requested to give your email, but that's it. Other than giving your email, so it builds our database as to who has visited us. You can also make comments there, and we'll try to, of course, we're going to try to gradually improve the wellness conditions, so you'll see medical references, you'll see training materials there for all the way up to health professionals. You'll see a lot more information available on those wellness conditions. We also have a new announcement for those people who purchased the cell defense. We had some delays in getting it because it was an upgrade, and we were working on an upgraded technology for some months now. That came through, so anybody who's ordered cell defense, we are giving you the upgraded new cell defense super absorption technology for anti-inflammatory cellular and DNA repair at no charge. In other words, if you've already placed an order, you're going to get the replacement with a new upgraded version at no extra charge, and we will be shipping that within a week. This new system, I've already tried it. It is amazing. One of the most powerful and most important nutraceuticals in the world is curcumin. We now have a delivery technology that's even better than our previous system, and it is now available. There's nothing like it in any other company or health professional or alternative media or herbologist or chiropractor or whatever. This is the best. And we use that, our new cell defense with the anti-inflammatory Inflamex, with anti-inflammatory fatty acids such as omega supreme and omega supreme krill, especially with the astaxanthin, and we can turn off your inflammation. And so we now have this new upgraded cell defense. It'll be available within roughly a week. So look forward to that. And for those people who've already placed orders and were waiting because we had some back orders, those are all going to be delivered shortly, and there'll be no additional charge to get the new upgraded version. So that's a good announcement. Now, you also want to visit our show archives every day, because we have lots of different material. I posted up there many articles, hyperlinks to wellness conditions, articles I think they're important from various journalists around the world. For example, in the last few days, on Friday, I posted up an important article and a video link that I think you should have a look at from April 1st. Yesterday, you'll see the show. We'll have all the show content. By the way, that show content will be linked to each of the radio archives. So by cross-indexing a system which I've set up, which nobody else has in any other radio show, you can hit a topic, and the topical search bar at the top, it'll pull up not only the nutraceuticals and the protocols that have that set of words in the search bar, but also the radio shows that have that content. People have been asking that for years. I had that original functionality put in there, but now we're finally getting it set up so we're actually going to cross-index all the current shows, and you'll see if you search by a topic, let's say heart disease or anti-aging or cancer therapies, you'll be able to pull up all the radio shows, and all the wellness conditions and nutraceuticals are all cross-indexed, and they'll all pull up from that one search bar at the top, which is really cool. It means it's all going to be available for you. We have, of course, new specials on all the time. Our lactose blocker is on a special 30% off sale and free shipping. We have cardiovasc, free shipping. And, of course, we have the QRMA Again, 2 free consults for each of your family members per year, wellness analysis, and free shipping, and that's at a special price too. We have, of course, the Allison Med, which is on sale and also free shipping. So Allison Med is one of our main nutraceuticals. The Brain Power is on a special sale as well. Silver 100 spray, and we're always running that at roughly, I think, 15 to 20% sale lately. We've been doing that for a while. It's really pretty powerful. There's no comparison to our Ionic Silver to any other. And it's non-toxic. It's part of our eye protocol. And NutriDefense, which I designed, has the most powerful antioxidant in the world, the anhydrous catechin polyphenol, along with the boosting for the natural killer cell activity and special components to break up the destruction of the RNA and DNA viral capsids. So it's a very unique formula. It also has components to break up and stop what's called a Fenton reaction, which allows viruses and pathogens to enter tissue planes. So that's all available. One of the things you'll be seeing in the next week or so is the Critical Issues Forum. I'm posting up some articles there. There'll be an article on healthcare, an article on my analysis of why you see what we call the unpolished gaffes of Donald Trump. I think he has a touch of Asperger's syndrome, which basically, if you look at many of our presidents, including George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, they had some components of it, at least. What it basically means is they really can't lie. Number 2, they tend to say things that are on their mind. They're very driven. They're usually significantly above average intelligence or genius level. And they're usually very successful whatever they do because they have a very driven and focused mind. Unfortunately, they also may say things that are socially inappropriate or not well thought out, which is probably why under the interviews with people like Chris Matthews, under hypotheticals, Trump made that comment about punishing women for abortion, which is, he retracted within 11 seconds, realized, well, I shouldn't have said that. He meant punishing the doctors and nurses if it was made illegal. Well, punishment is certainly not what they do in Islamic countries, where before Friday morning prayers, they amputate their hands first, and then they amputate their head before Friday morning prayer. So if, and there's a lot of, the reason is the Republican Party doesn't want to really outlaw it because it loses the Christian way to attract the Christian vote. The Democrats don't want to do it because they don't want to offend women, even though it's destroying their health, increasing the risk of cancer, infertility, and broken relationships. All the research is there. We'll be back in a moment with hour number 2 in just a minute.